Hello, my name's Pharaoh, and today I want to look at navigation using portals. Because theoretically we should just be able to turn up at a portal, type in a portal address, and have a pretty good idea of whereabouts in the galaxy we would end up. But this involves knowing exactly how the portal address is made up. So let's take a look at that. Once we have charged up a portal, one of the things that we can do is activate it. And this brings us to the Enter Sequence interface. This allows us to enter a sequence of 12 glyphs. Here I'm entering 12 random glyphs. And then we can walk through the portal and arrive at any spot in the galaxy. The other thing we can do is request the address of the current planet. As you can see, I'm not on a random planet. I've specifically come to this location in order to show you how the portal address codes are made up. The portal code starts off with a single glyph, and then a sequence of 3 glyphs, then another sequence of 2 glyphs, 3 glyphs, and a further 3 glyphs. Each of these 16 glyphs is a digit in the hexadecimal system. So this first one would represent 0, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, A, B, C, D, E and F. In decimal we have 10 digits, 0 to 9, and then the next number is 10. And in the same way in hexadecimal you count up to F and then the next number is 10. We can use this information to decode each digit of a portal address. But next we need to know how the portal address is broken down and what each sequence means. So let's do that. Here we have a portal code broken up into sections. 1 glyph, then 3 glyphs, then 2 glyphs, then 3 glyphs, and then 3 glyphs. Each of these sections designates one thing about the location of the destination. The first glyph is the planet code. Every system contains a number of planetary bodies between 1 and 6. These can be planets or moons. The first glyph is a digit between 1 and 6, represented in glyphs, which tells us which of these planetary bodies we will arrive at. The next 3 glyphs represent a region code. A region is made up of hundreds of stars, which is why we have 3 glyphs to represent our location within a region. Now the region code doesn't really tell us exactly where we will end up in a region. It's just a designated number to identify each system within that region. So our destination might be system number 27 in the region Hadrax Nebula. The remainder of the glyphs are a coordinate system which tell us where the region will be within the overall galaxy. Here I have represented the galaxy in the form of a pizza box, a square container that is wider than it is deep. In the galaxy map we see a swirling circular structure that represents the galaxy, but it's actually square, and the coordinates suggest a pizza box structure. Let's colour code our directions. These first 2 glyphs represent the up-down direction. The next 3 represent the front and back direction. And the last 3 represent the right and left direction. You may remember that the sunrise represents 0 in the hexadecimal system. So these first 2 glyphs represent a 0 point or origin in our up and down direction. And that's actually in the middle of the pizza box, halfway up or down. we start off in the middle and we work our way up. So 1, 2, 3, 4 would be going upwards. And then when we get to the middle, we then start working upwards from the bottom. So the coordinates wrap around from the top to the bottom and then work their way back to the middle. The next 3 glyphs are the front to back direction. In this case, the origin is the middle of our pizza as we look down upon it, and we work towards the front as we go up in number, and then when we get to the middle numbers we wrap around to the back and come back to the front and end up at the middle. So higher numbered addresses will be here near the centre, and the lowest numbers will also be near the centre here in the front direction, and middling numbers will be somewhere at the edges of the pizza box. The last 3 digits are the right-left direction, and again we start at the middle, and in this case we work out towards the right, and when we reach the middling numbers we wrap around to the left hand side of the box and work our way into the middle. So each of our 3 coordinates always starts in the centre of that relative direction, works in one particular direction, and then wraps around from the opposite edge and works its way back into the centre. In the galaxy map, this spiral representation of the galaxy will appear in the top left-hand corner. Our current position in the galaxy will be represented by a circle, which indicates where we are in the central galactic plane, imagining we were exactly halfway up. So if there was a dot in the centre, it would just represent our position left, right, back, front without any up and down coordinate. But if it's got a down direction and the dot is below it, it means that we're in the bottom half of the galaxy, and if it was above, we would be in the top half. So now we know how a portal address is sequenced, we can use that to go to a specific place in the galaxy. So let's think of somewhere specific that we would like to go. Visualizing a pizza, let's aim for the top right hand corner of the pizza as we're looking down upon it, and then maybe somewhere in the bottom half towards the base. For the planet code, let's stick to 1, because we always know that there will be at least one planet in any system. Then for the system code, let's again choose the first system in the region, which would be 001, which I know from experience will position us in one corner of the region. Now the next 2 glyphs are the up-down glyphs, and we've established that it starts off in the middle and works its way up to the top, and then wraps around and then starting from the bottom works its way to the middle. Now we want to be in the bottom half of the pizza, so we want to use these bottom numbers, and let's say we want to be roughly in the middle of that bottom half, so somewhere between here and here. So let's choose the whale glyph and then a central number, say the scarab. So this is going to be approximately in the middle of the bottom half of the pizza box. Then we want it to be in the top right hand corner of the pizza as we look at it from above. So in the front to back direction, we want one of the higher numbers, because the lower numbers would be in the front half of the box and the higher numbers would be in the bottom half of the box. So we need somewhere in this region. Let's aim for a higher number so that we're not too far from the centre. And then for the remaining 2 digits, again we'll go for our middling scarab glyph. Now we're aiming for the top right hand corner of the pizza. And of course the right-left sequence starts in the centre, works its way out to the right, and then wraps around and comes back in towards the centre from the left. So we want to be in the top here somewhere. Again, let's not get too far away from the centre, so we want a nice low number in this case, and we'll fill out the rest with the scarab. So if our calculations are correct, we should now open a portal to the top right hand side of the galaxy, somewhere in the middle of the bottom half as we look from the side. Here we are in the galaxy map on the other side of the portal. And as we can see, we are in the top right hand corner as we look down upon it, and we're not too far from the core as we were aiming, and we're below the central origin as we look from the side. Now the line up and down is often extended, which effectively means the galaxy, at least the way it's represented here, is more cubic. If we were at the base of the galaxy, the dot would be right down where the numbers are, and if we were at the very top of the galaxy, the dot would be right at the top of our screen. So this location is about halfway down the bottom half of the pizza box as we look at it from the side, which again is where we were aiming. And as we've demonstrated, we can position ourselves on the galaxy map just by knowing how the coordinate system works. We don't need to use exact numbers, we can just use rules of thumb, work our way along the top or the bottom of the glyph sequence, and get a rough idea, based on that glyph's position, where we will end up. Now there are some coordinates that we can't go to. We can't go to the systems really close to the core, and we can't go to the regions right at the edge. Here I've dialed in the first planet and the first system, and I'm going to go to the very bottom edge, which would be the dragonfly system, because that's coming up from the bottom, and then 0, or the sunrise, because that would be the very lowest number as we progress back upwards from the bottom. And then for the other two coordinates, I'm going to stay in the exact centre as we look from the top, which would be 3 zeros for front to back, and another 3 zeros for right to left. For this address, we get Atlas transport error, which means that this system doesn't actually exist, but it has opened up a portal. So let's see where it's put us in the galaxy map. If we go into photo mode, we can see the glyphs for the planet that we've arrived at. We are indeed standing on the first planet, located in the first system of a region, but not the region we were aiming at. Because in the up-down coordinates, we're not in Dragonfly Sunrise, we're in Dragonfly Hawk. So we're not in 8-0, but we're in 8-1. So we appear to have ended up in the region immediately above the region that we were aiming at. This is because the region that we were aiming at doesn't exist. The very edges of the galaxy have a single region buffer that cannot be accessed. And so we need to bear this in mind if we're heading for the edge of the galaxy in any direction. We're enclosed by a barrier of one region, which we can actually see as a group of stars, but we can't access. However, our current location is right at the very base of the galaxy, in the centre of the galaxy as we look down upon the pizza box. So we have ended up in the spot that we were trying to aim for. So here we are in the galaxy map, and there are a number of stars in our region, and there's always one black hole marked in any region. Directly above us is the galaxy core, and if we look downwards, we can see we are in the corner of a region, and the region name, as we can see here, is Pogshi, just below the system name. And if we look directly downwards from here, we can select the stars in our region, which are the ones on this side here. As you can see, these all have the same region name. But if we drift downwards away from the core, we can't select these stars. These are the stars in that barrier I was referring to, and they're not accessible either in the galaxy map or via the portal system. And then if we go further, there are no stars at all. So there you have it. That's how the portal system works. Now, I've dumped an awful lot of information into this video, so you might want to rewind or freeze frame it at some point in the video. And I would recommend coming to a portal and experimenting, putting in some addresses, seeing where you end up, and getting an idea of how to navigate around the map. As I've demonstrated, you don't need to know the exact number of the system you're heading for. You can use rules of thumb and use that scale along the glyphs, so you're working outwards and back again, and you can use that as an approximate way of getting to a particular point in the galaxy. If this has been useful, drop us a like. I've been Pharaoh, and I'll see you soon.